Jai452 here, and we're back inside the closet of cosplay. And my special guest this week is none other than
Sawyer's Mess.
Hey Sawyer. How are
Hey.
you today?
I'm good, thanks. Just enjoying my week back from London Film Con.
Awesome. So we're gonna jump right in, and I'm gonna ask you, when did you first start cosplaying?
I started cosplaying going back about 2 years now.
Awesome. Um, who or what inspires you to cosplay?
I mainly cosplay quite a lot of game characters, so the games I play inspire me to cosplay quite frequently, but also the general public. So when I go to these events, I wouldn't pinpoint a certain person. There is some great cosplayers out there, but what I find is just the general public are so friendly and polite that it just brings you into that atmosphere, and you just want to do it. You know, it's so fun. That was what inspires me. That atmosphere and friendship you can make from it.
Awesome. So my next question is actually kind of split into two halves.
Okay.
What has been the most challenging cosplay that you've ever done, both from the putting together of the costume
Right.
and the acting side of it? Because even though like people might see cosplayers and look at them and think, oh, they're just dressing up, essentially what I've come to understand is you are becoming that character for the day or however long you wear the costume for. So you might need to learn how to move like them or talk like them or just how they would interact with other people. You need to learn that kind of thing. And it's not easy for a lot of people. So let's start with the costume kind of side of things. So which one's been the most challenging for you to do or that you've done?
So, to be perfectly honest with you, I've had a few challenges here and there, but my first cosplay was literally the hardest one. I'd never made cosplay before. I'd toyed around with the idea, watched a few videos on YouTube, checked out a few forums, and so forth, and I decided to make Boom and Boom from Borderlands 2. Um, it was kind of half bought, half EVA foam, half different materials scattered around the house. But I was cosplaying with myself and my younger brother. So I had basically two costumes to make at the time in about the space of a month. So coming as a beginner and trying to make two costumes instead of one for the first time in such a short time scale and playing with new materials just was really new, exciting, but also pretty tricky. So I think that's the cosplay I had the most difficulty with because it was all new to me. Like I'd go cut some foam and I'd realise that I haven't got the glue, so I'd have to go to the shop. Then I'd come back and forgot the paint, and it was backwards and forwards until I eventually finished it. But once we got to the conventions, you start realising how hot these things get and so forth. But yeah, it was the Borderlands, the dual cosplay. It was mental.
Awesome. And from the acting side of things, which one to date has been the most difficult kind of character for you to like get into?
Right, so we had the Borderlands one just to go back to. I'm 6'5", so I'm very tall. And going through venues, you kind of used to how tall you are, but the costumes with spikes on, and I had spikes on the top of the helmet. I'd walk through the door, they'd all come off. This was just before the masquerade, so I bumped into some friends, borrowed some super glue, I glued my hands together. I'd got this, I'd got this like mask on top of my face, which was sticking to my hands, and I was sweating everywhere, and it was like, we need to all get on stage, and I kind of winged it, and me and my brother got on, but it was an absolute nightmare. It was bits falling off here and there. It happens. Like I've been judging masquerades for a while now, and I've seen people performing on stage, and you have pieces of their armor flying into the crowd. But it's the funness of it. It's like, right, yeah, I've spent time making this, but if it falls apart, a bit of glue or some extra time next time will fix it. But it can be a bit embarrassing when you're walking down a masquerade parade and your shoulders fall off and smash into pieces. Or I've seen people fall on stage. It's terrible to see. Obviously, you go help them up, but these things do happen to people, and there's no reason to be ashamed of it. It's just learn from it is the best bit of advice I can give. And Try not to take anyone's eye out in the process. It's always good.
So another bit of a similar kind of question for you here, because it's in two halves. In your opinion, what is the most difficult thing or character to cosplay as, both from the making of a costume and the acting side?
Um, I know quite a lot of people who do the big build cosplays.
Hmm.
So a shout out to David Roth from Exeter Cosplayers who makes
Yeah.
8 foot tall
Yes,
Space Marines.
has one for London this past year.
Yeah, he's a good friend of mine, so we was there together, and walking around in something so big without the hydration and the water can be very dangerous. As soon as you stop sweating, it's time to start worrying, and basically. And I'm in the current process of building Reinhardt from Overwatch. So that's
Oh,
another tall character with a big hammer. If you haven't played Overwatch, please play it. But it's one of them ones where once you build a
cheesy,
costume,
cheesy, like, what is it? Cheesy promotion, cheesy promotion.
nailed it. If you're watching, but yeah, when you're making them, time consuming. So there's a lot of foam, a lot of money. But then the testing you must go through to walk around in them things and literally keeping hydrated and making sure that you don't fall over and make a fool out of yourself is the big thing there. So there'll be a lot of test runs of my costume, making sure that all the supports are working correctly and that it's easy to get off and on, and that if I'm in there for multiple hours a day, then I'm not going to die of heat exhaustion, because it is a worry for some cosplayers these days.
I actually am reminded of something that I've pretty much said almost in every interview, but I remember waiting to do the masquerade from my first year at Film and Comic Con in Glasgow,
Hmm.
and I was standing between somebody from Monster Hunter and a Lady Death,
Right.
and there was two girls behind the Monster Hunter girl, and they were like going, "Oh, it's so hot," and my feet were killing me. They're dressed like Disney princesses,
Yeah.
and the woman who was in front of me was wearing like 7-inch high heels, and I'm just like this, kind of like, just please shut up, because they weren't being like overly quiet or anything, they were being quite loud. And I was like, please just shut up, because this woman's going to turn around and literally rip you guys a new one.
I think.
She sort of like turned slightly. Those girls were still going. And then an Iron Man walked past, popped his helmet. The sweat literally was pouring out of him.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yep. Those girls immediately shut up then. I was like,
Yeah, I think it's okay wearing an outfit, but once you've put something like that on, I think you
definitely,
start getting a grip of how much dedication some of these people put in. Yeah.
definitely. Um, is that something that you've ever done? Have you ever done those kind of like almost mechanical costumes
Yeah.
before?
Well, this one, for example, it's 3D printed,
Wow.
some magnets in, pop that on your head. That is laced with foam, and
Uh-huh.
it gets very hot very quickly. So every time I'm at a convention, that stays on for roughly around, I don't know, about 30 minutes before I actually need to take it off. But I've been to plenty of conventions where people are literally buckets are pouring out of them. Like, I wear Assassin's Creed cosplay. I wear crafted chaps for the legs,
Hmm.
and every evening when I take them off, I have to literally wash them for one. But then the sweat dripping on the bottom half of my legs is just, yeah, you could slide out of the venue literally.
Um, so I want to ask about this helmet, although we'll probably get to it in the thoughts, but
Mhm.
your field of vision there, how restricted is that when you're actually wearing it?
You can actually see.
Hmm.
So you use the two bottom eyes, so
Hmm.
this one and this one, so you can actually see, but it is restricted. If you're getting up on stage, I suggest a helping hand. But they're pretty easy to take off and stick back on, so you can just take it off if you're having trouble finding where you need to go.
Now, was that something that you 3D printed yourself, or was it something you had someone else 3D print for you?
I work closely with Calamity Cosplays, so I do help out in the 3D printing process. So me and him spent a good part of a couple of months creating the entire Destiny outfit, gun, helmet, the entire armor. It's all 3D printed, so we spent quite a lot of time putting that together. So yeah, I'd say I made half of this and he did the other.
Awesome.
Basically,
Speaking
he
of
used me as his test dummy.
speaking of which, he was working flat out this year for London Comic Con for his costume.
hmm
And I do think he was a little bit afraid that he wasn't going to get it done on time.
we had conversations daily. He lives roughly about 30 minutes away from me, and we visit each other quite a lot. We do quite a few Twitch streams as well on a night. So the amount of stress he went through to complete his costume is incredible, especially with everything else that's going on in terms of shoots and other work me and him have got going on as well. It's
I was lucky
very
enough
stressful.
to see a couple of pictures that some of the other people from my game um, were able to take of Connor in his costume. And oddly enough, I'd actually seen his costume beforehand
Mm.
because I'd seen it on a stream that he did before leaving for London.
Yeah.
But he did fantastically. And when I seen like Sharon as well, I was like, oh, both of you guys have done fantastically. Um, sorry.
All right.
So that was absolutely fantastic seeing that, and it actually brings me to my next kind of question. There are two types of Comic Cons that you can go to. You can go to the big once a year ones,
hmm
and then the smaller little ones like the local ones. Which out of those ones do you prefer more so? Do you prefer the big once a years or the small local ones, or do you like a blend of the two?
To be perfectly honest with you, it depends. Working as a business or helping out for cosplayers, commissions, etc. The bigger ones are better because you've got bigger names there, people are more interested, so you've got more people to work with. But that's from a business scale. So if you're trying to sell cosplays and gain commissions, then usually it's better to go to the bigger ones and sell yourself a little bit more, maybe for publicity. Little conventions, so like your regional, so like if you wanted to go to the Sheffield Comic Con or Manchester, etc., where they're a little bit smaller, I prefer them for the cosplayers and the people, because at the bigger events you don't really get a chance to speak to people. That's one thing about London Film Con. It was great, we could speak to a lot of people, but you find yourself limited and shouting at each other because the atmosphere is that loud. One brilliant one I went to was Newcastle Expo, run by Showmasters, and that was fantastic because you could speak to whoever you wanted. If people wanted an actual photo, you weren't asking people to move out of the way. If you got on stage, you could have time. You could take time out to go actually talk to people. And the pace of everything's a little bit slower, which after waking up at 6 o'clock and finishing at 7 at night, it can become a drain on your systems. So working the smaller ones, you get up a bit later, you finish a bit earlier, and it's just a nice flow to things. It feels like you've actually had time to enjoy everyone's costumes instead of a select few, which I enjoy.
Um, so going along with that, when you do these Comic Con events, what is the one thing that you find? Well, what is the one thing that you are most excited about? And what is one thing also that you either A, used to find most nerve-wracking or still kind of do find kind of nerve-wracking?
Right, so the thing I find most exciting is meeting new people. So every time I go to these conventions, I meet. I went to London Film Con. I was on breakfast with Rutger Hauer from Blade Runner. It's just ridiculous, like some of the people you meet. I was in a lift with Edge from wrestling, and it's like, okay, this is strange. So that kind of stuff's really exciting. I don't go out on my way to talk to celebrities. I find that everyone else does that, so I speak to anyone who's anyone who wants to come speak to me. Please say hi. So that's the exciting part: meeting new people and seeing things and collaborating with other people and sharing ideas. It's always fun. In terms of nerve-wracking, I'm not a nervous person, so I work. I have another job where I work in office and I deal with really high business clients, so I can speak to people from all backgrounds. So the speaking part, I'm totally fine with. The only thing I find a little bit nervous is if people are aggressive towards one another. And in a convention, everyone really is there for the same. If I find people are being aggressive or angry, it kind of makes me a bit nervous because it's like we're all here to have fun, guys. Let's just enjoy the atmosphere. Let's have a drink afterwards if everyone's just tired. And I think that's the only thing which can put a bit of a downer on a convention.
Now, we were talking a little bit about the cosplay masquerade.
hmm
Um, Obviously, you've entered into past ones before. Have you ever won anything when entered into them? And if so, what was running through your head when you got called up?
I've entered a few masquerades over the course of 2 years, about 3 or 4. I haven't won any. There's just been a few who are literally that much better than me. But that's the best thing about cosplay. It gives you that drive. If someone's won, great, applaud them. That's brilliant. I'm like really pleased for them. Again, the whole atmosphere thing. It's just good to be a part of it. If I won, I'd lose my mind. I'd go get on my knees and start crying. I wouldn't know what to do. But the best thing about it is if it pushes you. If I've not won, then so be it. I've been a part of it. I've spoken to many people who actually just turn around and say, "I did it for this cosplay or their 10th cosplay." They just enjoyed being a part of it, and I think that's why I love it. Actually,
I actually got a bit of a funny story for you for this one.
Go.
Um, I was lucky enough to go to a small local Comic Con in Glasgow, and it was a Halloween-based con. So you had to come
Right.
in like zombie makeup or something. And I'd just come off of doing Comic Con on the 22nd, so that was the filming Comic Con last year. And I was like twiddling my thumbs trying to think of how could I make my Harley costume look different from what it is, because it's a very, like, my original outfit is very classical.
hmm
And I'm like thinking, oh, what can I do? What can I do? And I sat and watched um, The Nightmare Before Christmas one night. And I was like, that's it. I could combine a little bit of The Nightmare Before Christmas with it.
hmm
So I did like stitches all
Like Sally.
over my face, yeah. And I entered into cosplay masquerade and I was like, I'll get nowhere. My outfit's crap, my makeup's even crapper, whatever.
Yeah.
And we went up and I did my thing and smiled and come off the stage. And then we were waiting for the judges to call back, and when they did, they said Mulan/Ping to the stage and one other person, and then they said Patchwork Harley. And because I was stood with one of my friends, I was like looking around going, is there another Patchwork Harley here? And he actually go! Oh. And I was like, what? Me? Really? I don't get it.
You can amaze yourself at times.
I just didn't get it because I was looking at everybody else's costume and going, it's so much better. You guys
I
like
think that's the
really
thing,
did
isn't
the
it?
9 yards kind of thing. Now, I have heard word that you've judged a few competitions like that.
Yeah.
So give us the inside scoop. What are judges really looking for when it comes to stuff like this?
Personally, I think a lot of judges, I can't speak for their exact opinions, obviously, but I think what they have their own niche. So one might be fantastic seamstress, the other might be an expert in 3D modeling, another person might be an expert in EVA foams or big builds. In respect to that, that's great, but from my experience, we are looking for I say we as a collective term, but it's mainly me, are looking for people who literally have fun. Like, every time I stand up on that stage, just have fun. You could be in a tinfoil Iron Man suit and rock it. Like, it doesn't really matter what your costume's made of or how amazing you've spent millions of pounds on creating a costume. If you have fun, that to me appeals to me. Other cosplayers might say I'm looking for the fabric or the way it's molded, but I literally just, if you've had fun and you've shown it and you've shown that confidence on stage when you, I've seen people on stage performing, their hands are trembling, but they nail it. Literally, you would not notice unless you were close enough. And the crowd's cheering, everyone's having a laugh. People are just like keeling over with how amazing the cosplayers or the actual comedy value to it is for some of them. And for me, when I'm judging, if someone can make me laugh, then that's perfect. Literally, if you just make me laugh, or literally, if I've got my jaw on the floor looking at a costume thinking that is the best thing I've ever seen, then you've got to win, literally. But then you obviously have multiple judges who you've got to you've got to try and persuade them. This is mine. We've been in situations where we've had like an hour conversation of who should win. So I'll say this guy, and this person will say no, her, and then we'll be all on top of each other, and then you have to like get together and think of why, and then it gets down to the basis. I don't know if you know, but when you enter a masquerade, you fill out a quick form telling you how much is made, how much isn't, how long have you been cosplaying, what music do you want to come on to, and things like that mainly lead down to the final decision. So you might have had the best time, in my experience anyway, mainly you've had the best time ever, but you've spent a lot longer creating it while this guy's gone out and bought it, or it all depends on who you've got there and there's different mechanics in it. I could bore you for hours about how someone has sewn it intricately, and then one woman I saw had put 2,500 little sparkly diamonds. She glued them all on a dress. Now that's just fantastic. It's brilliant. Another guy had spent months handcrafting a wig for his beard, hand stitched it. So things like that are just incredible. Like, I'd never thought of that. But deep down, back to the original topic, like if they are having fun, if they've made that costume and they look like they hate it, then you're not selling it. You've made it, and you should be proud of the fact that you've made something out of raw materials.
I will say, the costume that I'm working on for this year, I can't sew to like save myself. So a lot of my costume is going to be on the acting side
Hmm.
of things. And when I went for a fitting recently with my seamstress, I was like, I have no clue how I'm going to move in this. And it's simply because there's so many kind of parts to it
Hmm.
that you would look at it and you'd think, how does he move? Because that must be like constricting his movement. But nowhere on the level of what somebody in like full armor might be wearing. So it's going to be an interesting one, and you guys can watch that live on iGame and possibly later on my YouTube channel. Who knows?
I'm gonna have to check it out.
Um, yes, I'll give you the link to iGame if Connor hasn't already done that before. Um, so before I ask you this next question, I want to ask you, what are the top five, and if you can't get five, we'll go with three, funniest things you've ever seen happen at a Comic Con?
Um, well, a few of the Comic Cons I've done have done lip sync battles.
Hmm.
Um, they're just incredible. I love judging lip sync battles because some guy, well, for one of the best ones recent, the London Film Con, a guy dressed up as Deadpool, and everyone knows Deadpool these days. He did Careless Whisper, so he playing the saxophone with his gun, and he ripped the silencer off. He was singing his lungs out. Fantastic, literally. He had me in stitches. So that's one. Let's have a good think. Funny things, funny things. I saw a brilliant cosplay of the Python Quest for the Holy Grail,
I
the
love that
coconuts.
movie.
Yeah, them kind of things, brilliant. Any kind of cultural reference or film I've seen where I've been like, that's just fantastic. It always goes down well as well because everyone's kind of familiar with it. I did get one guy at, I know it's recent again, London Film Con, get me to stand up, hypnotised me. Not really, it was going with the show, so I like to get involved. To announce my love for One Direction, so shout out to him. Yeah. So everyone else laughs. I like to be the butt of the jokes. If I go on stage, I did a cosplay blind date, turned around, and then we're dancing and having a laugh. It's things like that. Just there's so much stuff going on that to rack my brain right now. Um, it's just amazing the things people do. But it's always fun, definitely.
Good, good. Um, in your opinion, what are some of the best and worst things a new cosplayer can do when they're preparing to do a cosplay?
As in building one.
Yes.
Yeah. So rule number one: don't touch a hot glue gun. Rule number two: don't glue your hands together. Super glue sticks. They don't work on flesh. That is a thing. Ventilate your areas. I work usually in the kitchen or with Connor in his garage, creating the props in the studio. Um, so keep it ventilated. Wear gas masks. If you are dealing with poisonous chemicals like paint is poisonous, gas fumes poisonous, heat exhaustion is a worry. So make sure that if you are creating any cosplays, know the ins and outs first. If you're gonna think I'm gonna get this lighter and burn this rubber to give it that burnt effect, don't do it in your kitchen. Don't do it in the living room where there's flammable things. Prepare yourself, and that's for a beginner cosplayer. Just do a bit of research on the internet. No one's going to look down at you. I've done it. So always do that bit of research. And if you're working with sharp objects, etc., just take that extra care. We've all been to school. We've all had the teachers to tell us not to run around with scissors. Just keep that knowledge going.
You mean to say that we're not allowed to run around with these?
There you go.
Damn it.
Oh, another thing as well is if you put magnets in anything, like the helmet,
Mhm.
make sure your hair's tucked back or your ears are tucked in because these are really strong.
Really?
And I've pulled out quite a few strands of hair and nearly lost an ear. So, dedication, but just be a bit careful.
Definitely. So I want to actually ask you a little bit about Comic Con itself. Now,
Mhm.
when I first started kind of looking at going to Comic Con, I had this kind of like preconceived notion in my head that it was just people between like mid-teens to maybe early 30s that cosplay, and that was it. So
Mhm.
your demographic was really like teenager to 20-year-olds kind of thing. I was so surprised that when I actually went to Comic Con, I seen like entire family units, like mums, dads, and little children of like 3 months, and grands and grandpas even doing cosplay. Did you have a kind of like similar experience when it came to cosplay, or did you know that it was a big age group,
I
specifically over here in the UK? Because I know that the States, it's you
is
come, you
phenomenal.
dress up,
Yeah,
you know.
you ain't got a choice. I kind of had a feeling that it may be anywhere between the lines of tiny kids to, like I say, about maybe 30, 40.
Hmm.
I'm 28 myself, so if you go off that conception, I've only got really 12 years left of cosplaying. I'd like to cosplay it until I'm old and decrepit. I do Metal Gear, so if you follow the Metal Gear franchise, I'll be Metal Gear 4 by the time I'm 40 odd, so I can go down. Yeah, I think I did. I think as soon as you attend, though, you realise that there's people from every age. Like I saw a 3-year-old Nighthawk, and uh,
Oh,
a 3-year-old Joffrey. So and then I've seen 60-year-old grandpas from Up and elderly people cosplaying from all sorts of characters, depending on who they want to play. You don't have to cosplay as that age group. It helps because you look the part, but it doesn't. Once you attend, you start realizing that it is for everyone, not just a select group.
one of the things that I was kind of discussing with a lot of people, there's two things on this subject that I actually really like. One is that if we live in the UK and you're male, sorry women, but if you're male specifically, doesn't matter what age we are, we're always going to have somebody to cosplay as because of Doctor Who.
True. Depends
Now,
if you want to go. You could cosplay as Wolverine for his entire
yeah,
lifespan.
you could. But because Doctor Who is such a big thing over here, you'll see, it doesn't matter where you go in the UK to a Comic Con, there's always going to be a Doctor Who person
Mhm.
cosplaying there, or a person cosplaying as a Doctor Who character there. Of course, the celebrities from Doctor Who always seem to pop up at these events too, so
Yeah, I wonder
you'll
why.
see them. Um, but the other thing I remember was a post on Facebook. Now, I think I mentioned a few other people, but there's this old woman who is either 90 or 100 on her birthday. And you think, well, there's nothing really special about that. You know, people live to 100 more and more these days. But what I found really interesting about this is that she wanted to go to Comic Con for her birthday. Well,
Hmm.
like, screw, like, sitting around with her family all day long, go to Comic Con. But she didn't just want to do that. She wanted to cosplay while she was there. And I thought, wow, 100 to like 90 something years of age and you want to cosplay, like, hats off to you. Um, and what I found really interesting was that the character that she picked, she actually decided to cosplay as Wonder Woman.
Oh, okay.
And
Props.
she didn't do the like covered up Wonder Woman, she did the classic kind of Linda Carter look kind of thing.
Yeah.
And there's a picture of her um, with in the costume, but with her Zimmer frame walking around at the Comic Con, and I'm like, that is amazing. And
Yeah, well,
what
it's inspiring if someone at that age, who's lived a long life, can
mm,
actually do that and actually want to. I think it's admirable, definitely.
do you know the one thing that I found really awesome about this, and this is the DC fanboy coming out in me, when they asked her, why did you pick Wonder Woman? She simply said, she's my favorite comic book character. And I thought, that is amazing. And the people at DC, I hope to God they've seen that, because there's a woman who's literally been around for the entire time that Wonder Woman's been around. Because Wonder Woman's only like 75 or something.
Yeah.
So it's like, this woman has literally followed Wonder Woman all the way through and wants to cosplay as her. How awesome is it? Like,
That's
just
brilliant.
amazing. Um, so yeah. Next question for you is, alongside the age differences that we tend to see, have you ever done any cosplay that's geared to a certain age group, or has it just been whatever you feel like?
It's usually whatever I feel like. um, I have been recently asked to cosplay as an older character, so he's about 15, 20 years older.
Hmm.
So I will be getting my hair cut, beard shaved, and that a lot for someone. So it's for an event, end of the month. It's a bit secret at the moment, but yeah, it's looking to be an interesting one, and it'll be nice to cosplay someone who I didn't choose for a change. So It will be fun. I have wanted to cosplay quite a lot of older characters as well. I find that now I am getting a little bit older. It is good to try that avenue, but usually it's whatever appeals to me, or strangely enough, it's whatever game I'm playing at the moment. So that's usually what I roll with.
Awesome. Do you happen to notice, like, when you're doing gamer cosplays in general, that certain people will notice you more so?
Yeah. I dress up as Metal Gear Solid, so Big Boss from Metal Gear Solid 3, 5, depending on what franchise you want to go through.
Hmm.
And if I go to Play Expo, for instance, where a lot of gamers go, I will get Snake, Snake. Everyone's shouting. I got on stage and then everyone was like, Snake, Snake. So it was really cool. I love the gaming expos because I cosplay as gamers. The only thing I have a problem with is because I do the Assassin's Creed one as well. Um, I cosplay as Connor Kenway, and my partner who I work with Calamity Cosplays is Connor. So if someone comes up to me and says my character's name, I get
You immediately
confused.
think him.
I'm like, no, he's there, and it's like, no, you're Connor. I'm like, no, he's Connor, and then we're backwards and forwards until I realise I'm like, oh yeah, Connor Kenway, yeah, sorry. But I love it anyway.
I actually had that issue myself because I had so many people calling me Harley on my first time out, and I was just like, Harley? Who are they talking to? And I think the fun thing that I had was that first time people just shouted pudding at me, like, pudding, pudding, and it just didn't dawn on me at all. It just kind of like, and then it wasn't until my cousin actually said to me, "You're cosplaying as Harley. Think it through." You know, that
Like, oh
clicked.
yeah.
Oh yeah. But oh, it's so weird, but fun at the same time. Um, so my next question is going to be on props.
Okay.
Okay, so when you're doing, like, say, a big cosplay like London Comic Con, which type of prop do you tend to tend to like to carry with you? Now, as far as I'm concerned, and you might agree with me on this, props really fall into three categories. You've got your big, oh my god, I'm gonna hit you and you're probably gonna get knocked out, if not killed by this prop.
Hmm.
You've got your mid-range props, which are medium size, and you can't really kill somebody, but you could probably still hurt them with it. And then you've got your easy to move props, the ones that could just easily go in your pocket, your bag, or whatever, and you're good to go. When you're doing a big event, which out of the three ranges you tend to work with more?
It depends on what character I'm cosplaying as, but usually you're talking something along the lines of that. So
Awesome.
um, lightweight, easy to carry, um, and you've got a spare hand free for one in case you need to, swap over, take gloves off, hats, and so forth. The bigger props do look amazing because you find that you get quite a lot more photos with the bigger props because
Hmm.
people obviously can see you, but after an hour carrying it, you
You'll
just
be
want to put it
tired.
down. Yeah. Or hand it to another person who wants a photo with it. That's usually a good option. Smaller props, I deal with like combat daggers, not real ones because of convention regulations, but rubber daggers, utility belts, and so forth. They're great to have for multiple pockets, so you can store your business cards or photos, or even pens for autographs and etc. So it all really depends on what costume you're wearing. To be fair with you.
That's fair. When you're doing a photo shoot, are you more inclined, are you personally more inclined to use a bigger prop?
Again, it falls down to who you are actually cosplaying as. But if I was, well, I get photo shoots done. I'll tend to take multiple costumes. So depending on the environment and where we're shooting, then I'll make sure that all my props are supplied. So if I am doing a big build, then I will cosplay as that big character in a certain environment. And then if someone wants to take photos, I'm up for taking photos in any of my costumes. provided the space. So if they want me to take a photo in this room in a Space Marine armor, you ain't got a chance. So it's all depends on if we're in a massive convention hall and there's space for us to move around, then that helps too. But usually I like in the photo shoots to make it easier, the less is better. So my Metal Gear Solid, I can roll around in the grass, I can climb up trees. It doesn't really matter, but if I'm in foam, climbing obstacles and stuff, it makes it a lot more complicated. So the shoots are a bit more restricted.
Okay. So my next question is actually on the props themselves. You mentioned that you make props alongside Calamity Cosplay's Connor. Um, for yourself, what has been the most challenging prop to date that you've worked on?
Um, the challenging prop, most probably, well, the helmet was an absolute nightmare. Um, it's my issue I have isn't the helmets or the guns. It's all the amount of attachments you have. So Metal Gear Cosplay, there's about 16 to 30 parts. I can't actually recall how many parts there is on it. It's that many. And then when you're putting it all on and then earphones, the little props are the more annoying ones because you're like, where did I put it? Where is it? Where is it in my hair? Is it in my ears? Where is it? And that kind of scenario. So they are hassle, the smaller props. But then my most probably my favourite one is the helmet. It does light up. There's already enough light in this room, but I'll see if I can. It's got robotics in the bottom. The battery may be dead. Ah, I don't know if you can see that.
Yep, we can see that. It's kind of slightly flashing.
So the lighting props, I'm starting to work on stuff like that. So that should be
That's awesome.
interesting.
It's still
So,
flashing.
yeah,
That's
I can leave it
amazing.
on if you want.
No, 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 that's fine.
There you go.
So those are some of the more challenging props. Like, what has been some of the most easy props that you've done as well?
I'll be honest with you, I am partial to buying things sometimes. Um, there's nothing wrong with buying items for cosplaying. If you can't make it and you've got another avenue of buying it, do it. Literally. That's not a I know we make commissions, but yeah, that's not a pitch. If you want to buy it from eBay, Amazon, Etsy, Gumtree, wherever, you just buy it. If you can't afford to fork out the foam and the glue and stuff, they're easy. You've got someone else can make it for you, and you have that product, and you will cherish it. If you want it, do that. The easy props I make would effectively be either the bought stuff or just simple things like a makeshift eye patch or a bandana or maybe just some harnessing. I just sew it together in about 5 seconds on a sewing machine. It's done. Um, Foam stuff as well. I find like making spikes, helmets, I can make in a day or two. Unpainted, of course. So the EVA work I do, I made. I don't suppose you've heard of Neverwinter Nights.
Yes.
I made Valindra for my partner, so I made her shoulder plates in a day, and they looked, in my eyes, fantastic, and she looked amazing in it. So things like that, I find that I work brilliantly easy with EVA foam. If you want me to make you a shoulder plate, it takes me a day, and that's not putting 110% in. That is literally freehand cutting, slap a load of paint on, done. And then again with other props, I bought a £15 Nerf gun from B&M Bargains and got a black pound spray paint. It looks amazing. Literally, you wouldn't think it was a Nerf gun. You'd think it was an actually made prop. So things like that are great and easy.
Awesome. So before we do the last part of this interview, I want to ask you, what advice would you give to anybody who is looking to start a career? Well, not so much like a paid career, like not like an actor, but is looking to start their cosplay journey and is a little unsure of where to start.
Advice for you is do what you feel's right. don't cosplay someone because they've said, "Oh, I like this cosplay," or "I like that." Don't do it for anyone else. Literally, I took a lot of advice from people telling me what to do in my life, and the first and the first time I ever actually took action on my own was to create cosplay items. So it means a lot to me. And I decided to make what I wanted to make, not because someone else told me, not because I thought, oh, I'll join in with that group or I'll do that. I did it, and I was so happy when it was finished. And that's the best bit of advice I can give you, is to cosplay what you want. If you're umming and ahhing, I don't know, you might have a favourite TV show, you might have a favourite game, you might have that favourite drawing you've seen on fan websites, or that favourite advert you saw on a TV last week. Research it, draw it up. You can even make your own, it doesn't really matter. Just do what you think's right. Don't listen to other people, peer pressure, and you'll be loved no matter what. Cosplay exactly what you want to do, and I think it'll show, and you'll feel better in the fact that you've made it. On the basis of that, though, if you've made it, don't listen to what anyone else says. If someone says they think it's cheap or it's rubbish, they're not needed. Do it for yourself, and I think that I can give that to advice as to everyone who does want to start cosplaying. Do what you want, have fun, and if you do need any help, the community is so friendly. Ask the community. There's plenty of websites, forums. Facebook's a good example.
Facebook is a brilliant example.
And yeah,
So many like events that happen in the general area. Like say if you're going to the London Comic Con or the London NCM Comic Con, there'll be splinter groups that will tell you, oh, well, there's another Comic Con happening, a smaller local one at this venue on this date, and we're going to be there. Why don't you come along and join us?
yeah.
Another so friendly.
Yeah, they are. Another thing I found from my first convention was, if you are cosplaying a character from your favorite TV show or franchise or whatever it may be, the best thing is find a group of people who do that as well. So whether it be Lord of the Rings, Borderlands, carry on.
Yeah.
Find a group of people who do that cosplay at the convention, because 9 out of 10 times they will do a cosplay group. I'm part of multiple cosplay groups for the outfits I make, and the fantastic responses you get from Facebook as a group, or from the conventions as a group. Go meet them people, and you will make friends which will last forever, literally.
Awesome. So here comes the part of the interview where we've kind of almost finished everything up, guys. So don't forget to get I'll try that again. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel to be notified of when I do more Inside Cosplay videos. Also, don't forget to check out iGame Online. There are multiple different things that we do. We do a podcast that you can listen to and hear about all the stuff we get up to during the week, along with myself, Honey Jade, Whisper, Zelly, to name a few. Also, don't forget to check out the Merp session, which is our tabletop Lord of the Rings online gaming session thing. And don't forget to check out my other show on iGame, the TV Draw, where we talk about all things that happen on that square box in your room called television. But now is the time when I'd like to pass over to Sawyer and ask him, where can we get a hold of you if we have any further questions?
Right, so if you'd like to speak to me at any time, I am free most days, provided I'm not dancing around on stage in a costume. But please feel free to follow and like me on Sawyer's Mess Cosplay. That's SAWYERS MESS Cosplay. I will be glad to answer any questions, and if you have any events coming up and I may be in your area, just come say hi. I've got 4 conventions planned soon, so please feel free to come and have a chat, drink, coffee, alcohol if you're into it, and I'll be glad to join.
there's an idea. Don't worry, guys. The description to all of Sawyer's social media will be in the description for this, or the links to it will be in the description for this. I think the link box is somewhere down there. Um, but before we go, Sawyer, can you tell us two cosplays that you're definitely going to do this year, and one maybe cosplay that you're thinking of?
Um, definitely. So we have Assassin's Creed, Kenneth Conway, as that tends to go down pretty well. Couple of bow and arrows, always good. Solid Snake from Metal Gear, that's another crowd favourite. The Destiny Hunter, which is a new addition. And then the maybe, hopefully, for this year will be Reinhardt from Overwatch. There is a few other in the mix. A character by the name of O'Neill. Check him out. That may be shown on the end of the month on my webpage. As long as a few other cosplayers. I have a stack of Warbler, a stack of EVA, and a ton load of free time now until my next convention at the end of the month. So if you feel like you want to check my webpage out, please do so. But yeah, there's quite a few. I might do McCree. He's pretty cool in Overwatch. I've also been tempted to do a Witcher cosplay with actual chainmail links, so that would be interesting. And I do fancy a few Mortal Kombat characters as well.
Awesome. Well, thanks, Sawyer, for taking the time out and
You're
spending it
welcome.
with us. And guys, I will be back with another interview real soon. So, bye.
Bye.